Hi, everybody. DJ Yoakley with you for another Columbiana player profile brought to you by G. Berwick Farms. You can visit them in Columbiana on New Buffalo Road or visit them on the web at gberwickfarms.com. Proud sponsor of the Clippers. And at this time, I am joined by one of the senior Clippers on the Columbiana basketball team. He is Dalton Whitehair. He is one of two seniors on the basketball team, and he is the Clipper captain. So, in honor of you, getting that, and that's something coming from a Palestine boy doing the Clipper clap, because that's almost sacrilege here in Bulldog country. But for you, Dalton, I give you the Clipper clap, and you should be applauded because you go from being a varsity mainstay on that team last year, getting time and making the most of your time on the court last year to, like I said, being one of two seniors and really a leadership role, well deserving of the captaincy. Talk to me about how you've adjusted from cutting down the nets last year to building the team from the ground up with Coach Johnson and Tyler this year.
Well, it is a little rough. Having little varsity experience on the team, getting them in the gym every day, pushing them. Like we all push each other, and I try to tell them everything that I know and everything that we had last year. Although we lost a lot of the team, it's how do I say this? Like the last year, what?
It's a challenge, right? It's a challenge for you to have to do that. So, I mean, my follow-up question to you would be, given the situation at hand where you only have, yourself is the only varsity experience coming back, getting Tyler up to speed, having him make the jump from JV to varsity with no summer basketball to speak of. I mean, it was very limited. Was that the biggest challenge, or what other challenges did you face this summer just to try to kind of piece this thing together?
Yeah, usually we have basketball camp, and we weren't able to go to it this year. And we had some summer league games, and that was good for the team. And so we had, I think, 4 or 5 scrimmages, so that was also good, getting them a taste of varsity. But Tyler and the other juniors and Anthony Hall freshmen, they've impressed me this year with what they've going from JV to varsity, and like me and Tyler pushing them in the gym, it's helping them a lot.
And that's big. And leadership is not something that you always ask for, right? It's something that kind of is bestowed upon you given the situation. And you've stepped in to be that leader for this team, you and Tyler both. You've battled through some adversity. You've had some injuries that you've had to kind of shoot back from. Everybody talks about, when you're in the season, very, very rarely are you 100%, but you've been trying to get back there and rehab some stuff and get back on the court and give Coach Johnson and your teammates the best you have. What has it been like for you, and how challenging has it been for you to not have those regular reps and have to just one more thing to fight back from?
It's a little tougher to push through stuff, but me being a senior and knowing more things than others, I know what I have to do for the team, and no matter what, I'll be a leader.
Are you at the point yet in your senior year where you realize that you're a senior, that there's a lot of lasts that are going to start to transpire? And, do you think about that a lot?
Yeah, I first thought about that during AAU season, like my first AAU game, my last AAU game. And I've been thinking about that. I mean, not too much because I want to focus on the season right now, what we have. Even with COVID, like we can only get so many games if we get quarantined. So I just take every game like it could be my last.
What would you give to have a full capacity crowd in Berryman Gymnasium back on a Friday night or a Tuesday night in Columbiana?
I'd give whatever. Like going from last year, the crowds that we had, it was absolutely amazing, and the student section was great. And this year, even though we have our parents, it's just like the crowd just not fully the same as it was.
I know they talk about it a lot in the professional ranks and in college right now, given the lack of people in the stands. But is it weird to go up and down the basketball court with limited fans and hear the other team and what the coach is calling out, and the other team can do the same thing to Coach Johnson? You can hear the plays, you can see it kind of, almost a little bit more focus, if you will, because there's not as much buzz around the gymnasium. Do you have that same sense or feeling?
Yeah, and not only do I like hear the plays, but like even sometimes I could hear people talking in the stands, which usually I can't hear. And with the coach calling it plays, Johnson knows all the other team's plays almost all the time, and it actually helps a little bit of him telling us what's going to happen.
All right, so let's get back to things that you've learned over the last 12 months. So 12 months ago, you guys were on pace for an EOAC championship, all the great things that you did last year, cutting down the nets, you name it. A different feeling, obviously, with COVID not quite here yet. What did you learn in that season to get you prepared for your senior season and to be a leader on the floor?
It taught me that I'm going to have to push harder than I usually do, because like, even though we didn't know about COVID then, but I knew that the team that I would have going into this season, it'd be a lot different than last year. So I'd have to change my mindset, and sometimes in some games how I play.
And then from this season, I mean, there's a lot to learn from this season. Coach Johnson said it best in our interview earlier today. You learn more from losing than you do winning. However, at the same time, you've trying to kind of bring everybody up in this same speed, get to varsity experience, varsity tempo, all that stuff. What have you learned about yourself and your leadership style over the last 3-4 months that maybe you didn't expect even from yourself?
That I can really make a difference with kids that don't have that much experience.
I can respect that. I think that's a good thing to know about yourself, because in future, I think that's going to teach you a lot about who you are and going through life. Because again, you're not always asked to be a leader. Sometimes you got to step up and be one. All right, Dalton, let's get off the court for a second. A couple months from now, you're going to get a piece of paper that says you did what you had to do the last 4 years in your high school diploma. Talk to me about your plans for after Columbiana High School.
Right now, I'm undecided of like where I'm going, but I know I'm gonna major in civil engineering.
Oh, so I'm guessing you got some good grades.
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite subject in high school right now?
Math.
Naturally, as an engineer, it should be. What's one thing as an engineer that would be your dream to help be a part of building?
Really, anything. I'm here to help.
My buddy's a civil engineer, my best friend in the entire world, and he's a big bridge builder, which love what he does. I think it's as interesting as anything. But if I thought like when he told me he was going to be an engineer, he'd be building like the skyscrapers. There's nothing out there that like you'd want to see built or want to build more than anything else that would interest you to be like, yeah, your future grandkids, I built that.
Any like monuments, I guess, like bridges, that'd be really cool. Any tall buildings, the engineering that goes into that's really, really interesting.
All right, let's get off the floor as well with your role models. Who has been the person that you've looked up to off the floor during the entirety of your career or just growing up to be the man you are today?
My parents, for one, and then coaches, Coach Joe Votino, Coach Mark Metzko, Coach Nick Rome, Coach Johnson, Coach Matt Liggett. Those coaches, they've really helped me become the player I am today, and my parents helped me become the man who I am today.
All right, so what is one lesson that you learned from your parents that you will always remember?
One lesson. Know who I am.
Wow. And what does that mean?
Just no matter what, know my worth and what I can do.
That's deep, man. That is deep for a 17, 18-year-old to know already in life. You are well ahead of everybody else. Now I can understand why you're going to be an engineer and building things for people. All right. So got your parents, got all your coaches. Who has been a role model to you on the court? Who have you modeled your game after or modeled your character on the floor after?
Well, when I first started getting into basketball, met Coach Mark Metzko.
Mhm.
He, and with the shooting, I remember going to the first one, just seeing how good of a shooter he was, and then Coach Joe Lewandowski, I believe that's his name. I think he's the coach at Point Park.
Mhm.
He was helping Coach Metzko at a clinic, and the ball handling, I just wanted to be like those guys at first. And even before then, Devin Rice, he graduated a while ago, but he was a player that I wanted to be like in high school.
Very cool. Is there one guy that kind of put his arm around you as you were going through the ranks at Columbiana that you really look to and say, that was the guy that helped me get to where I am today?
Coach Liggett.
Coach Liggett?
Yep.
Was there any players that kind of took you and said, okay, this is how you become a Clipper?
Eric Hoffensies did his senior year. He helped me get more physical, and all the seniors last year, they helped me become the player who I am.
All right, man. Last question. I got to ask it because as a Bulldog, I know what it means to be from East Palestine, and I hear it all the time. It's the same way over in Columbiana. What does it mean to you to be a Clipper?
Well, it's an honor because I think people underestimate who is actually a Clipper, and being able to wear the Columbiana Clippers on the chest and having my number 24, I don't want to take that for granted because it means a lot that I was able to make a difference in my school and make people think that the school is better.
I love hearing that, man. He is Dalton Whitehair. This has been your G. Berwick Farms player profile brought from Columbiana High School. Dalton, thank you so much for taking time with us, for us, and for everybody out there. If you're looking for a great leader, DW is the man you got to look up to. Best of luck in all your future endeavors. We'll be watching.
Thank you.